Hello and welcome to Supergroup, a podcast where I talk to local songwriters and musicians about the artists that have influenced their music, and together we build the guest's very own supergroup. My guest chooses a drummer, a bass player, a rhythm guitarist or keyboardist, a lead guitar, and then finally a singer to duet with. I am your host Neil King, and today's guest is local singer-songwriter Eugene Wilson. Hi Eugene, welcome to the podcast.
Hi there, thank you, and thanks for having me as well.
Very welcome, how are you?
Not so bad, yeah.
Thank you for joining us today. We're going to build your dream supergroup. Now, before we do that, we're going to talk about your influences, but I'd like to start with your kind of songwriting and your own music, really. So, you're a Scouser, there's no getting away from that.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Proud Scouser.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes, never forget your roots.
Exactly. So growing up in Liverpool then, it must have been so influential on you, with regards to music. How aware were you of the history and the importance of music in the city?
Quite aware, to be honest with you. I mean, I've got many brothers, always music getting played in the house, musicians as well, always sneaking into we had a living room and a front room, and so sneaking into the front room when my brother was in there with his friends and they were playing music, and they didn't see me sneaking in, but I was having a little listen to what they were playing, and there was the likes of Black Sabbath was getting played things like that, and Paranoid, and and I was getting into a bit of that as well, and the Rolling Stones, but then they found me and then they kicked me out.
So did your brothers play music then, actually, instruments?
Yeah, they did. A couple of brothers played guitar, and they had a wee dabble with bands and stuff and that, whatever. They didn't do anything in the lines of songwriting. Sister sung as well, so that was a bit of it. But I sort of like come into it late, despite the fact that there was that music was always there in our family.
Yeah. So when did you pick up the guitar then?
Well, I had a couple of goes of their guitar until I got told off, and then and I waited for them to go out and I was having a little practice of that. But then seriously, sort of like I started writing lyrics and poems and stuff and that, whatever, and because my daughter was seriously ill, and I lost my daughter to leukemia in 2005, so I started writing all these things while she was ill, and after we lost her. And then my other two kids bought me a guitar, and that was a Stag guitar. The strings on that were just unbelievable, like wire cheese cutter, So anyway, so I had to go with that, and I went into it like really serious then, and sort of like, and all those words that I had written, I started putting music to it as well.
Yeah, is that when you first learnt the guitar?
I would probably say seriously, probably, I would say, without being clever, self-taught as well.
Yeah, so you are a late learner then, really, for the guitar.
Yeah, I regret a wee bit when I was younger and those instruments were sitting in the house when we were in Liverpool that I didn't play something. But I mean, when I started learning, when I got this guitar, I was playing so many songs and it didn't sound like anything. And then all of a sudden I played one song and it sounded like it, and I went, whoa, hooray.
Yeah.
And I'd finally sort of cracked it.
There's that moment, isn't there, when you're learning and it suddenly makes sense, changing between chords and things like that.
Yeah. And I never ever thought it was something that I could do as well. I mean, my younger brother, he was in quite a lot of bands as well and played with some like big people as well. He toured with Big Country.
Oh, really?
Wow. He also went on tour with Mary Wilson as well. I mean, people might remember Mary Wilson, but she had a big beehive sort of thing, and that's lady quite famous, and they did a few of their own songs, but as you say, I did get into it quite late.
You've always been interested in music then, so when did you say you moved to the Isle of Man?
Came to the Isle of Man in 1994.
And at that time, did you go to any gigs or anything? Did you kind of take in the music scene? Or?
Yeah, I did. I took a few gigs in, and I went to Bushies when that was there. But I went to one place, and it was my favourite pub. They've turned it into offices now, and I was gutted when they did it, and it was the Corner House.
Oh yeah.
And I remember the story was because I got to the door, and the bouncer said to me, "says You're gonna have to pay to come in, mate." He said I think it was about £3 or £4, and I said, I'm not paying £3 or £4 coming to a pub. He said, the band who were on are really good. So at Liverpool Humour, I said, well, if they're no good, can I come back for me £3 or £4? So he just laughed at me. I went in there and who was playing? Gasp.
Oh, yes, they're great, aren't they? Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing, yeah. And so I got into that sort of scene then
Yeah.
when the likes of them were playing.
Wow, yeah, Steve Parry.
Yeah.
He's one of my heroes when I was a kid.
Oh,
Yeah,
God, so talented.
Yeah, really good.
Fantastic.
His voice is fantastic as well, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, great. Well, that's a good band to give you the first impression of the Manx scene, actually.
Oh, God, yeah.
There wasn't many better than that, to be fair.
Well, so I was told, yeah.
So, with regards to kind of performing then, you do a lot of open mic nights and charity nights as well, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
So tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, we do a lot of, I do a lot of fundraising for Anthony Nolan, which is the charity for my daughter. Done a couple of marathons and things like that. But when it comes to the music, yeah, we've had band nights and things like that and fundraised in that way as well. We run a yearly event as well, which, yourself, you've played at as well, called the Guitarathon. But what it's about is like, my open mic's not just about the highest level, it's about encouraging the ones who are get up there, the ones who are in the bedrooms and try and encourage them and get there as well. It sounds a bit corny and that whatever, but I love seeing them grow as well. And I've seen people grow from, take for instance, as a guy who's been coming for about 3 years. He came really nervous, just recently played down at the Erin Arts Centre with John Gregory. His name's Adrian Cowan, and I hope he doesn't mind me mentioning him and that whatever, but it's fantastic to see that happening, to grow from that period of being really nervous in the Cat with No Tail, and then all of a sudden he's on the stage there and people are paying to see him.
So you've recorded a few songs then as well. Have you spent some time in the studio before?
Yeah, I went into the studio on the recommendation of it. See, there was a little duo, they came along called the Tides, and you may have heard of them.
Oh, yeah.
And those two guys, and now they're a full band and they're recording as well, but they told me about Jippo.
Yes.
So I went down to see Jippo and had a chat with him, and so I recorded a couple of songs. I've only managed to record 6 of my songs, but I've got more than that floating around as well. But Jippo keeps on saying to me, come back in and finish the album off, and I will do when I get the time.
Yeah. With regard to performing your own songs then, when did you first perform?
I started performing my own songs at some of the open mics and whatever. I was like, I plucked up the courage. I was playing covers and whatever. But to be honest with you, Neil, I don't play covers that well. And I was more writing at home and practicing my own songs and whatever. So when everybody does say that to me, said, you play your own stuff, don't you? And I've got a really good friend, Ian Thompson, and he always says to me, you're so brave playing your own songs when you're out in public, and I do that as well. But I've sort of like encouraged him, and I said, why don't you put one of your own songs into your set, because he plays a lot of covers and that whatever. And just recently when I've been to see him, there seems to be more of his own stuff climbing into there as well, which is fantastic because that's how the public are going to get to know it otherwise.
Okay, so that's your recording side there. What we're going to do now, before we go through your supergroup and talk a bit more about your influences, we're going to play a little clip of one of your songs. So what's the first song you'd like us to play?
First song is called You Can't Hurt Me No More. So the story about it is it's about somebody being in a situation and they feel there's no way out. The only way out is for that person to help themselves, and that's what it's about. You can take all the advice off everybody else and that whatever, but you can actually have the strength to get yourself out of that.
Great. Okay, let's have a listen.
I can taste the tears in my eyes, and I can't see where I am. I have so much inside, and it's called fear. Pain, I'm told, and it will subside. You can't hurt me no more. You can't hurt me no more. 'Cause I closed your door. 'Cause I closed your door.
Okay, that was You Can't Hurt Me No More by Eugene Wilson, and I believe that featured Katie Lawrence on violin as well. Yes, it did, yeah. She very kindly played on that as well, yeah. And
so amazingly so talented as well.
She's great, isn't she?
Yeah, fantastic.
So before we build your dream supergroup, let's talk a bit more about your early influences then. So what bands were playing in the house when you were growing up?
Well, as I've already said, there was a bit of heavy stuff, Black Sabbath and things like that. A lot of Rolling Stones as well. Weirdly enough, I still remember there was a Neil Young album there, so a lot of that stuff as well. A few Bob Dylan albums, but I couldn't get into Bob Dylan then. I think I was too young for that. My sort of like era was there was a lot of sort of like early sort of like Thin Lizzy, but tipping into a bit of punk as well. So yeah, rebellious stuff as well. And I don't think my mum, who everyone calls Mama, which is people who know me, is like a Burmese tradition that everybody calls her Mama, and that's the Burmese tradition. You don't call them your mum, you call them Mama, and simple like that. So that's what happens. She wasn't overly enthused about me being involved with punk because I had hair, colour, everything under the sun.
Oh wow, did you go for it then?
Oh yes, I went from red and then flame red it was called. I always remember the colours, and then I had peacock blue. Then I decided to get my hair shaved on one side, and then on the other side that was just growing there. Oh, it was a lot of crazy things going on, yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, a lot of rebellion going on.
Wow, okay. Did you get any music from your parents, or was it your brothers and...
Mostly brothers, and and there was always there was never ever silence in our house. The record player was there, and we used to fight to sort of like play our own records and stuff. If not, there was always a radio on as well.
Yeah. Now, we messaged before, and I said I was looking forward to a Scouser being on, but you don't like the Beatles, do you?
It's weird, you know. I mean, I don't dislike them, but I don't play any of their songs.
Yeah.
And every time I'm out performing, people say to me, "Oh, you must know, play the Beatles, play the Beatles like that." And I said, "I don't know any," and I must have to. I must really try and learn.
Yeah.
You know, it's no, they sort of like, I don't know. It's there's loads of Beatle albums in the house when I was younger.
Yeah.
You know, the White Album was there, and all the Abbey Road was, and all of them were there. I wasn't a great lover of them.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I went to see the Police at Liverpool Empire, and there was only a quarter full, so there was maybe about 260 hours or something like that. I think there wasn't a lot, so we all went down the front of it, and they played their album Outlanders the Moor. That was their first ever album, and because they didn't have enough songs for their set, they played it twice, and that was it. They were amazing.
Wow, they must have took off pretty soon after that.
Yeah.
That was a huge album, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah, amazing, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I seen their reunion tour actually, maybe around 2006, around there, and they were absolutely fantastic. I knew they'd be good, but they were absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
You know, when a band just comes out and hits you, and you know, considering they don't like each other, you
I
couldn't
know.
guess from
Unreal,
the sound they were making. But they're all
Yeah.
just such great musicians, aren't
Yeah,
they?
it's very talented.
Yeah. Well, let's start building your dream supergroup then.
Okay.
So we're going to start on the drums. So who have you got on the drums and why?
I was thinking of, I'll be truthful and honest with you, I thought about Keith Moon, because I like his madness.
Yeah.
I like his face, and I know he's not here anymore, but I love that madness and that energy about him. But I went for a drummer who is still here, Taylor Hawkins.
Okay,
And Taylor Hawkins is drummer in the Foo Fighters. Seen the Foo Fighters live many occasions, and also went to a concert when Dave Grohl he broke his leg, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
And we went to the Bowl, and they set up this big runway, and he was on in an electric wheelchair. It was unreal, absolutely unreal. And he stood up for halfway through it, and then played guitar, and then had to sit back down in his electric wheelchair. It was crazy, but
Brilliant.
the drummer, he's just amazing. The energy out of him, and it doesn't matter what weather it is and that whatever. He never wears a shirt.
Yes. Yeah.
Never wears a shirt. It was just like, and you can see why, because he must, I don't know, lose a stone in weight just through the energy he puts into it.
Definitely. He's quite a good singer as well. He sings one or two, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Well,
yeah, he does. Yeah, actually does do a bit of vocals on it. But Foo Fighters are just like something else. I just love that music.
Yeah, and because Dave Grohl was a drummer, he would only recruit a really good drummer, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
You wouldn't just get anyone in because that's his instrument, isn't it?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay.
Big time.
So Taylor Hawkins on the drums, and let's complete the rhythm section then. So tell us about your bass player.
Oh, bass player, without a doubt, dead simple, Phil Lynott. all day long. And can I tell you a story about Phil Lynott?
Please do.
Bass player for Thin Lizzy, obviously. Unfortunately, he died quite early, at the age of about 36. And well, I do actually know. And he died around about 86 it was. But Liverpool Empire, we managed to get into the Empire. We didn't have no tickets, by the way. So forget that bit. But we got in. And so when we went in, we were sort of like milling around. But when we got in, I ended up, weirdly enough, how it happened, no one knows, but I ended up on stage with Phil Lynott, and I was at the side.
Wow.
And Phil Lynott was playing The Boys Are Back in Town, and I was dancing away, and then all of a sudden a bouncer lifted me up in the air and then threw me out.
Amazing.
But that isn't the end of the story. Threw me out of the stage door, and all these groupies were all there waiting out there, and they all cheered me as if I was some rock star. So I just took the applause, didn't I?
Exactly. You got him, haven't you?
Yeah. So I actually was on stage with Phil Lynott.
Wow.
Yeah.
They were a great band, weren't they?
Well,
Yeah.
amazing. Absolutely amazing. Loved it, and their songs, and still listen to them
Yeah.
now as well.
Yeah, what a pioneer as well he was, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And I watched a really good documentary about him, actually.
Yeah.
Really had a kind of tough life, didn't he? But,
he did. Yeah. Yeah, but sort of like, but the music, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what a performer as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. And you don't get many bass players lead singer as well, so it's
No,
yeah.
and you know, and sort of like, and even that bass playing was almost like, it was almost like a bit of a lead guitar that was going, wasn't it there?
Yeah.
You know, the way he played it, because he used the plectrum, didn't he, as
Yeah.
well?
Yeah. So that's our rhythm section. We've got Taylor Hawkins on drums and Phil Lynott on bass guitar. So let's hear another one of your songs then. What's the next song you're going to play for us?
Next song I've got is called Driving Forward.
Mm-hmm.
Started knocking a few chords out one morning, and as you do, and sort of like in the bedroom, and all of a sudden this song started growing, and I put this song together in the space of sort of like about 10 minutes, and it's crazy because I really like it, and I still like it, and you'll know this by performing songs, Neil, when you sort of like think, oh, I like this song, but you know what, I'm a bit tired of it.
Yeah.
Without being sort of like self-righteous, I don't grow tired of this song, and it's about chasing your own dreams as well, so driving forward and moving it, and it's a very similar ethos to it, sort of like if you want something and you need to drive it forward, and you need to carry your own dreams, and then they'll become reality then as well.
Fantastic. Okay, let's hear it.
Driving forward into the night, I caught your eyes in my headlight. It's time to believe in myself. Wasting and waiting, now assert yourself. Drive it forward, move it on. Drive it forward, move it on and 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 on. Dreaming and
Okay, that was Driving Forward by Eugene Wilson. We're back with Eugene now. We talked about his music growing up in the house. We've picked his rhythm section as well. Before we go on with the band, I'd like to talk about the musical influences from your teen years, early 20s. It's kind of the music you discovered yourself, really.
Yeah.
So who were those bands you're into?
I would say a lot of it sort of like moved on from the punk era, where we were looking at, I mean, I went to see bands live. I saw The Clash, I saw The Damned, The Ruts. The punk scene in Liverpool was big, and a lot of them were playing in the old Cavern as well.
Really?
Yeah, they were playing down there, and we would go there, and it was pennies to go in as well, but you got in trouble. Well, I did anyway, coming home late. So from the mother and father,
Yeah.
but I still had to go there and see them. Yeah, but then we moved on a little bit and went into sort of like a bit of heavy rock, and sort of as in moved from a bit of Thin Lizzy to a bit of Deep Purple. And then from Deep Purple, Richie Blackmore, he formed Rainbow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we went into a bit of that as well. Some people sort of like went heavier. I don't know, it's just like, I wouldn't say Status Quo were heavy and that whatever, but a lot of people were into that as well. But a lot of that stuff, they started going into Led Zeppelin,
Okay.
you know, and a lot of that stuff, and even sort of like Average White Band and stuff like that. But that wasn't for me. That it was just, I just thought it was just I stuck with Thin Lizzy, and because it was just like, it was something that I was passionate about. That.
Do you remember the first album you bought then for yourself?
First album, oh my days, this is bad. The first album
Don't be ashamed.
was actually Leo Sayer.
Oh,
Yeah, it's terrible.
I wasn't expecting that.
Oh, exactly. I went to see Leo Sayer live in the Liverpool Empire as well.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it was a superb concert and
Yeah.
loads of energy from him and everything and that over, yeah. But no, oh, bizarre. But yeah, so when we went to see him, said, oh yeah, I'm going to have to get that album.
So Leo Sayer had more people at his concert than the Police did at the
Oh,
Empire.
yes, he did.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy,
yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah. My first ever single I bought,
Yeah.
though, was Ballpark Incident by, oh my God, who was that? That was Wizard.
Okay, right.
Yeah, by Wizard, yeah.
Leo Sayer, I
I
wasn't
know.
expecting that.
Exactly. That's terrible, isn't
You've
it?
thrown me off now.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So that kind of leads us on, actually. So I was going to ask you about your guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
So if you can top Leo, I'll be very impressed. This is kind of a band who you're not ashamed to like, but they're not
Yeah.
not particularly cool, but you absolutely love them. So do you have a guilty pleasure band or
I don't
artist?
know. It's just like, I did like Human League, but I have to
Oh, yeah.
also admit as well, I like Wham as well.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, you believe it or not, they used to say to me, "Oh my God," they used to take me for being Andrew Ridgeley.
Really? Wow.
Honestly, used to get stopped and that whatever, and it's like it was ridiculous, and I was like, but I didn't like them because of that. I liked them because of the music
Yeah.
as well.
Oh, great songs, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant songwriters. Yeah. And the Human League, they've got a great catalogue of songs as well.
Oh God, yeah.
I think your guilty pleasures are my favourite from what you've said so far. But I'm a cheesy kind of guy, aren't I? Okay, so let's get back to the supergroup. We're going to complete the musical section here. So we're going to you can have a keyboard or rhythm guitarist, one or the other. So who are you going to go for?
Well, I've got rhythm guitarist and stroke. It would be vocals as well.
Okay.
Another massive hero of mine, Gary Lightbody from Snow Patrol.
All right.
Been following them since even they were become massive. Seen them so many times as well. I never tire of them, and I am very guilty of playing a lot of their
Yeah.
songs as well.
Yeah, they're nice to play though, those songs, aren't they?
Yeah,
Yeah, they
yeah,
work well,
yeah.
acoustic and broken down.
Oh,
don't they?
God, yeah.
Gary Lightbody there on rhythm guitar. And we're going to go for a lead guitar then. So who are you going to go for the lead guitar?
Well, I know you said the rules were you couldn't have them from the same band.
Yes.
Yeah, so basically to stick to the rules, I had to go to somebody who I loved the riffs, I loved the way some of the tunes that they belt out as well. And his name's David Kooning. He's the lead guitarist in The Killers. The story behind him though is that they've just gone on another tour. They got back together and they've gone on another tour, and he walked away this year from the band, and he said he wanted to spend more time with his son.
Yeah.
It made me thinking about Mr. Brightside and
Yeah,
those
yeah.
belting tunes,
Some
you
great
know.
riffs,
Yeah, it's just like you just hear that riff and you're just like you're bouncing, aren't you?
Yeah. So David Kooning, he's in the band. So who would you have had then if the rule wasn't for people
I
from the
would
same
have gone
band?
for. I was torn between two, and it's from Thin Lizzy. So
Okay.
Scott Gorham and Gary Moore. So I was
Okay,
torn
of course,
between them
Gary
two.
Moore, wasn't there?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But I don't think Gary Moore's still alive. I don't, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I think I remember him
Yeah.
dying. I think
Yeah.
Yeah.
But those two, and I would have definitely gone for them.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to hear your third and final song. So what would you like to play for your last song?
It couldn't be anything else. It's got to be Mama's song. And a lot of people, weirdly enough, they know it now and they join in and sing it. And that Mama's song was inspired by all the advice our mums give us, but all the advice that we choose to ignore. Because you know what? We know better, and we are cleverer than our mums. Not. Yeah. So, yeah, and that's what was inspired by it.
Brilliant. Okay, let's have a listen.
Mama said choose your friends, oh so carefully. And if you choose them well, then they all live happily. And it goes la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. Mama said dry your hair or you'll catch a cold. She said you'll suffer later on when you're gonna get old. And it goes la 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 la, la 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 la, la la la.
Okay, that was Mama's Song by Eugene Wilson. So now I'd like to talk about your favourite songwriters.
Okay.
So who do you hold up there in high esteem songwriting-wise?
I'd have to say Phil Lynott, Gary Lightbody, because they were the heart and soul. Well, Phil Lynott was of Thin Lizzy. Gary Lightbody, yeah. And he's been through a few troubles of his own and that whatever. But I really do like the songs that Passenger writes as well.
Okay.
I like the down-to-earthness of him as well.
Yeah.
Probably a bit of influence from there. But I also like Frank Turner as well. I like Frank Turner because he was in a punk band as well, and then he went out on his own, and he still got that energy as well, and he still blasts that out. I went here in the Isle of Man to see him in the Villa, and sadly there was only maybe about 200 people in there as well, but it was amazing.
Yeah.
Superb.
So if you had to choose one to write a song with, who would you pick?
Whoa, I don't know. That'd be tough. I think I'd probably lean towards Gary Lightbody more than likely.
Okay, that's your songwriter then. Now we've come to the end of the band, so you have to pick a lead singer to duet with. First of all, before you tell us who's won that place, tell us a few near misses.
Near misses, yeah. Well, near miss would be Gary Lightbody, 100%. Ben Howard probably couldn't sing with him anyway because it's like he's so eclectic and sort of like an up and down in the scales and whatever. But I mean, I love his music. Yeah. The person I've chose is Tom Smith, and he's in the Editors.
Okay.
Great voice. Plays guitar as well, also plays piano, very, very talented and that whatever. If you look him up on YouTube and you'll see him doing some sessions, just the live acoustic sessions, it's just amazing, absolutely fantastic. I've seen him play a couple of times as well.
Well, he's in the band, and that's your band complete. Okay, so you've got your band together, and I'm going to offer you a one-off gig with your new band in any venue you'd like. So where would your dream venue be? So it could be somewhere you've always wanted to play, somewhere you've already played and it has sentimental meaning. So where would you play?
I probably would like to play in Liverpool somewhere. I do favour, because when I do go to Liverpool, I go to the Jacaranda Club. And Jacaranda Club, weirdly enough, as you know, is famed for when the Beatles started there and stuff and that whatever, despite the fact that I'm not a real follower of theirs and whatever. But I've been there to see quite a few people play as well, and I like it as well, and I wouldn't mind going there.
Brilliant. Okay, the Jacaranda, it's got so much history. You can't really avoid Beatles history when you're walking around Liverpool anyway, can you? So...
No, not at all, mate. Not at all, no.
Awesome. So let's recap your dream band then, your supergroup. On drums then, who'd you have?
Taylor Hawkins from the Foo Fighters.
On bass?
We had Phil Lynott from Thin Lizzy.
Then on rhythm guitar?
Rhythm guitar was Gary Lightbody from Snow Patrol.
Lead guitar?
Would be David Coonan from The Killers.
And your singer to duet with?
Is Tom Smith from The Editors.
So all performing a song written by Eugene Wilson and Gary Lightbody at the Jacaranda Club. Pretty good.
On.
Yes, I'd go to that.
There you
awesome. Yeah. Fantastic. Okay. Thanks so much for talking to us today. It's been great. Some good choices there.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Great
Fantastic.
Stuff.
Thank you.
I'm a bit upset you didn't put Ringo on drums or something. You can't have everything, can you? Thanks for talking to us, and good luck with everything. Cheers.
Thank you very much.
That brings this episode of Supergroup to a close. Thank you to everyone for listening. Please like our Facebook page and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Spotify or Apple Podcasts. All our episodes are available on the Manx Radio website in the podcast section. If you're interested in local theatre, please check out our sister podcast called the Manx Theatre Podcast with myself and Neil Callan, and that's available on all the same digital platforms. Thank you to this week's guest, Eugene Wilson. I'm Neil King, and this has been the Supergroup Podcast. Thanks again for listening, and goodbye.